Morning, Richard. Good morning, Hayden. You know what, Richard? I've got my cat sat right in front of me, and she is smashing the W button. And all I can see in my Word document, instead of the LinkedIn profile, which is yours, is W's everywhere. Anyway, the random story approach. Hi, guys. My name's Deepak Shukla, founder at Pearl Lemon Sales. We're a sales training and development agency based in the UK as well as the USA and serving clients worldwide. And here today, in day number 126 of 119 days of cold calling training, these are the advanced strategies. We're going to be talking about the random story approach. So, look, I think that what I communicated to you just there is a really interesting tack to add surprise and intrigue to a call. If there's something that's funny or that you can deliver that's comical inside of a call, and it can be any moment during the call, to really have a brief interlude almost, or a brief digression, it can really add to the basically rapport that you build on the call, because it humanizes ultimately yourself and what you're doing. Some calls can be a bit too mechanical in nature. It's about the pitch, it's about the product and what you can do, but the humanistic element is always quite powerful. So my humanistic elements, I tend to use my cat Jenny. Okay, she's we've got a wall mount where there's a bed on the wall high up above me. It's outside of arm's reach, and she's sat right above me, passed out on it right now. So that's quite cool. It's close towards the ceiling on the wall, and Jenny will. I say often, Jenny will sometimes feature in some of my calls when I randomly just introduce her. You know what? My cat Jenny is scratching at the TV screen. I bought this. It's not that big, but like a 42, 43-inch TV. Quite happy with it in this tiny living room that we've got here in Fulham. Can't afford much more, but she went wild when we put some. So do you see there, guys? Again, I'm using a Jenny story in relation to mice, or the screen. I'm using it in relation to her sleeping. I'm using it in relation to the keys. So you can build ultimately a collection of stories, okay? All beginning maybe with one random story. You can build your collection and use it for brief comic interludes. So that's what you can do with random stories that have nothing to do with the call, but really they have everything to do with building that personal connection with the prospect, okay? Because it shows that, oh, you know what, Deepak's human. He's got his own world of stuff that's happening, completely like nothing to do with what we're discussing, and it's quite, it's moderately amusing, or even Deepak finds it amusing, and Deepak's friendly and full of life, so therefore I'm interested in listening to it. So that's this box here, okay? So I would encourage you to really think about something that you're passionate about, because the delivery, I mean, as long as you can deliver it convincingly and it's fun and it's authentic, then fantastic. So ideally something that you're passionate about, but it can be anything. As long as you've got like a couple of stories, or at least one story within you, you can tactically choose whenever you want to insert it as a brief aside. I mean, it's actually a really interesting way to energize yourself as well when you're getting a little bit bored of the perfunctory same pitch that you bring to every call. Bundle in a random story, make it a bit more fun. The random stories really. I mean, when I use random stories, the random story approach in my calls, it makes me smile. It gives me energy, and 4 times out of five, it gets a good response from the prospect, because it's so out of the ordinary to the kind of call they're used to receiving. It's just very, very different, and it does serve to bring you two closer to each other, okay? As opposed to in a standard cold call, you'll be maybe this far apart, and if you look at the gaps between the two, here versus here, the random story will ultimately bring you guys a little bit closer together, which is really what I enjoy about them, and that's why it's just useful to think about what is it that you can use in your life. I use my cat. You could talk about, and I like to keep it visual, by the way, so it really does help, especially in my case, because or even anyone's, you're quite visual. If you can look at something around you, that can be a bit of a recurrent theme. So that, in my instance, could be I can see my dishwasher. I've got, obvious, of course, Jenny. I've got my I've got a pillow of a picture of myself on a pillow, but that'd be a bit weird for someone. To make sure that they are stories that people can relate to, I've got alcohol on top of our cupboard in the kitchen. So there's a couple of things there that I could probably weave random stories into that could become part of my diversions or brief interludes when I feel like I need to mix up a call a little bit. So find your own and please do bring it to the table. There you have it, guys, the random story